You are listening to the Aging Starts Now podcast, where it's all about responding with confidence to the legal, financial, and personal challenges created by a disability, unexpected illness, or aging in general. Join us weekly as elder law attorneys Barbara McGinnis and Chris Johnson, along with other members of the Johnson McGinnis Elder Care Law and Estate Planning team, talk about the tools, techniques, strategies, and services that will make the elder care journey easier for everyone involved. Get ready, because aging starts now.
Are you caring for an aging loved one? Have you ever heard of the GUIDE program? Few people have. I'm Deborah King, a licensed clinical social worker and an elder care coordinator at Johnson McGinnis Elder Care Law and Estate Planning. On today's episode of Aging Starts Now, we are joined by senior care expert Debbie Miller to talk about a transformative program helping caregivers across the country, the GUIDE program. Welcome, Debbie.
Hey, thank you, Deborah. It's really good to be with you today. This is definitely a topic that is near and dear to my heart as a home care provider. We are seeing an increasing number of folks who have dementia and a lot of family members who are caring for loved ones that are really needing some support and somebody to come alongside them as they walk out this journey. So I am really excited to talk about the GUIDE program, which is going to give families a whole new layer of support that we've never seen before. So I'm pretty excited to share some information.
Absolutely. I've already made a couple of referrals, and the GUIDE program is going to offer our families some services that they've been needing for years. So let's start with the big picture. Can you talk about the growing number of family caregivers in the U.S. today?
Oh, for sure. We all know that America is aging. In fact, there are over 53 million people, Americans, now providing care to an elderly loved one. So as a society, we literally could not live without these folks. The healthcare system could not bear the responsibility for our seniors, unfortunately. So thank goodness we have so many families that do step up and take on this responsibility. However, it sure comes at a price to them. We see a lot of families dealing with the emotional stress, the impact it has on their jobs, the financial strain. Would you believe 66% of family caregivers actually end up using their own money, their own savings and retirement funds to pay for their loved one's care? So it's really unfortunate. And again, another reason why GUIDE can really step in and help out. When we look at
and that's not counting the impact on women who have to stop their job to take care of someone and the effects it has on their future earnings.
Oh, exactly.
That's a whole nother podcast, but
it is.
So why is it important for us to pay attention to this now?
Well, obviously, with the aging population, we've got more folks who are going to be diagnosed with dementia. We've got the burden of care in the country is at an all-time high. And the reality is we haven't seen anything yet, right? 10,000 people a day are still turning 65. At the front end of that is the fastest growing age group, which is amongst 80 to 85-year-olds. And within that group, people are living longer, but there is a high number of those folks. In fact, 90% of seniors have at least one chronic condition. So with that comes a more complex care situation, and a lot of families just lack the training and understanding of how to really, provide the care that is needed. They take on the responsibility, but don't always have the experience to really do it. And so it can be very, very burdensome. So, whatever we can do as a community, and, we do a lot of work trying to educate churches and families wherever we can pull them in and reach them to help them better understand, care strategies and things like that. And with the GUIDE program, you have an actual care navigator that comes alongside you and helps you through this whole process. So it's pretty pretty awesome, and it's definitely needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you look at the emotional toll that it takes on someone and the physical toll, if they're not sleeping, it's a 24/7 day job, caregiving is. And if they don't have some kind of support from other family members, from friends, or from paid support, it even exacerbates the stress that caregivers feel on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. The average caregiver spends 24 hours a week providing care, and 25% of family caregivers are providing more than 44 hours of care. So that is a lot, especially if they've got their own families. They may be older themselves because people are living longer. We've got
Yes.
grown children caring for their parents, and they're in their late 70s.
Right, right. Or the 80-year-old caring for the 85-year-old, right?
Right.
And what that does to their health. And we always talk in our office about the backup plan, because what if something happens to that caregiver?
Exactly. 61% of spousal caregivers predecease the person they're caring for.
Yep, absolutely. Or they have health issues that puts them in the hospital or makes them unable to take care of their loved ones as much as they are willing. So it's a big, big problem. And as you're indicating, it's growing all the time. So let's talk about the guide program. What is it and how is it going to help all these caregivers?
Well, so I'll tell you what GUIDE stands for. It stands for Guiding an Improved Dementia Experience. And this started as a Center for Medicare Services pilot project.
Mm-hmm.
And pilot meaning, I think it's like the pilot is six years or 6 to 8 years. So pretty good sized pilot. But it offers navigation, care coordination, caregiver education, and respite care. And so respite care is something we're really, really excited about because the program now offers those who qualify up to 80 hours of respite care per year. And that can be, used in 4-hour increments, however they choose to do. Sometimes the most exciting thing that can happen to a family caregiver is they get to go to the grocery store and, or go to the doctor themselves, or those things that that become really, really challenging. Well, that's where respite care can come into play and help them, give them a little bit of opportunity to get out and do the things that they need to do. But the program,
To help our listeners, explain respite care a little bit further, because some people don't understand or haven't heard that term and don't know how it works.
yes, great question. Respite care is having somebody come in to the home and relieve the family caregiver, so they can help with all of their activities of daily living, things that are that the family member does around the house, to meals as an example, certainly any personal care, those kinds of things. So it can be short term, it can be a regular time that gets scheduled to provide relief for the family caregiver so that they can go and do the things that they need to do, and they know that their loved one is being taken care of at home, wherever that person calls home. If it's in an assisted living, if it's in memory care, maybe somebody wants to go on a vacation and
Right.
is worried that they're not going to be able to call on mom with their regular routine. This could be where with a caregiver could go in and provide that coverage.
Good, good. So it's targeted to families dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia.
Yeah, so let me take you through what the eligibility requirements are, because
Okay.
there are some. So just to reiterate, this is a program that is paid for by Medicare. So one of the requirements is that the person must have traditional Medicare. It cannot be an Advantage plan. It has to be traditional Medicare, and the person has to have either suspected or confirmed dementia diagnosis. All right, and that can be any type of dementia: Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, frontal temporal dementia, vascular dementia.
Okay.
And if the person is suspected of having dementia, but you haven't been actually diagnosed, then our clinical partner can help with that, and help get that diagnosis. And then the final requirement is that they do need to be living at home or in the community, and the community being an independent living community, an assisted living community, in a memory care even would qualify. What disqualifies a person is if they are living in a nursing home or skilled care. Okay, if they are participating in hospice or a PACE program, that would disqualify them. And again, if they have a Medicare Advantage plan, so that would disqualify them. We're hoping that Medicare Advantage plans are going to start to, implement some of these kinds of programs. Hopefully, they'll take the lead from CMS and consider doing the same kind of thing. But until then, unfortunately, they would not qualify for the GUIDE program.
And just to reiterate, because you must be on Medicare, Medicare is actually funding this program. Medicare is paying for the navigation and care coordination services and paying for the respite care and the qualification exams, right?
Exactly. First time ever, long time awaited for, but
Yes.
better late than never, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we're really excited that I didn't know that I would ever see a day that CMS would do something like this, but here they are.
Absolutely. I fell off my chair when I read that. It was
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So, how do families in this area, we're in the Nashville metro area, how do families get started?
Well, they have to be pre-qualified. So what we've done is make it really, really simple for folks to just have one phone number. We can do the pre-qualification over the phone and then submit a referral to our clinical partner, and then they take it from there. So what happens, and I'll give you the number. It's 615-591-7007, and that is one number for senior helpers. We'll ask some questions to pre-qualify you, and then we will formally make the referral. And once the referral is made, a care navigator will reach out to you and do that initial conversation call that they will do, and then they will submit everything that needs to be submitted to CMS on your behalf. And once that is approved, they'll reach back out to you, and you'll be able to participate in all of the services that are available. So with the Care Navigator, just to give you a little bit more detail, what I love about it is many, many caregivers feel very alone and isolated on this journey. And this is a layer of support we've never seen before, where you can basically call this Care Navigator. They have somebody answer the phone 24 hours a day. You can call if you have concerns, if your loved one is experiencing some symptoms, new symptoms that you've never seen before that you want to get some input on. These are clinical experts who are there to guide you. If you're needing community resources, they will connect you to community resources. It's just like having your own support person there behind the scenes to help you every step of the way. So it's very, very, very valuable. And then when it comes to the respite care piece, once we get the approval from CMS to provide the respite care hours, then senior helpers will reach out and schedule those hours based on what your preference is. If you wanted to do it all in a couple of days, we can do that. If you wanted to do it 4 hours once a week, for several weeks, however you want to utilize those 80 hours. What's really nice, Deborah, is it renews every year. So it renews
Oh,
every July.
okay.
Yeah, so it's basically, if you use them all up, and we'll give you a call in July and say, hey, you've just been renewed, your 80 hours have been renewed, and how would you like to schedule that?
Awesome. Awesome. So I understand you have a real life example. You're going to tell us a little story about how the guide program transformed a family situation.
Yeah, we've several stories now since we've been, working with our clinical partner to implement the program. But one that I actually, this lady that I know myself, have been engaged with her for, a while now. But this was a 78-year-old lady who has moderate Alzheimer's. But her daughter was providing, still is providing most of the care that her mom needs, but very, very overwhelmed. In fact, she's got some high school kids still at home who
Oh,
are in sports. So you know how busy that can be. And she
uh-huh.
has a full-time job, and she's caring for most of mom's primary needs. So very, very overwhelmed. When she found out about the guide program, we got her, she might have been one of our early referrals. And so she was able to get started with the program. And the biggest thing for her was the care navigator. She said to me, I have never felt so supported, because here she is managing all of these things. And what happens is caregivers sometimes get into survival mode, right? They don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's available. The care navigator got her connected to the meal delivery program. So that was one less thing off off her shoulders. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we're providing the respite care so that she's able to have a quieter weekend and focus on the kids' sports. And that was an incredible relief for her. And then also the care navigators really helped her with a roadmap so that she's got, she's working toward her long-term plan of, what care is going to look like for her mom in the future. So she's just been so thankful that we were able to connect her to the program. And then she's participating in pretty much everything that is offered to her, and has made a huge difference in her life and her family, like her quality of time that she's able to spend with her family.
And I'm sure the mother benefited as well.
Yeah, well, and the nice thing is we were able to make a connection with the mom, where the daughter was always a little bit nervous about having outside help. And
Uh-huh.
so this sort of allowed her to dip her toe into the waters. And now the daughter doesn't feel so guilty. There's so much guilt that comes along with family caregiving, and that really breaks my heart
Uh-huh.
for these folks. And I'm sure you've seen it many, many times, Deborah. But this gave the daughter a little chance to see what it's like, but also the mom to have this friend. Her caregivers become her friend that, she looks forward to having visit her.
Oh,
So
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah, so it's been good for everybody.
And it helps a lot of the issues that we talked about on the front end in terms of helping with the emotional strain for the caregiver, um, allowing them the breaks and the respite that they need, providing different types of stimulation and relationships for the care person.
Right, exactly. And guidance. The biggest one here for the daughter was just getting that guidance that she needed.
Uh-huh. Don't you love the people at CMS that think of all these acronyms? I mean, this truly is a great acronym. Tell us again what GUIDE means.
Guide, yes. It means the guiding. Oh gosh, where did I put
It's up
my
at the
yeah,
front of our notes here.
guiding an improved dementia experience.
There we go.
Yeah, and it's guide really does nail it, doesn't it?
It does. It does. So, any final thoughts or takeaways we can share with our listeners?
I would say check it out. Give us a call. Let's see if we qualify, or if you qualify, And it's definitely worth having the initial conversation with a care navigator. And I would say, get some help. This is not a journey you have to walk alone. And as the disease progresses, Deborah, as well as I do, things get more challenging. And so even if it's in the early stages, even if you just got a diagnosis, now's the time to get involved, get registered, and start getting the support you're going to need. And I think everyone will benefit.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, can we have the number of where you can learn more about the GUIDE program?
Sure. It's 615-591-7007.
Great. Thanks, Debbie.
You're welcome. Great to be with you, Deborah.
Okay. And that's all the time we have for today's episode. If you know someone who could benefit from this program, please share this episode with them. Johnson McGinnis Elder Care Law and Estate Planning is a life care planning law firm helping people navigate the care questions and financial concerns surrounding aging. Join us next week for another episode of Aging Starts Now.
Thank you for listening to the Aging Starts Now podcast. For more information about today's show, visit tn-elderlaw.com, click on the Free Resources tab, and then click on Aging Starts Now. You'll find the show notes there. And while you're at it, why not check out all the free resources available at tn-elderlaw.com. Document downloads, the Johnson McGinnis blog, educational videos, informative articles, helpful links, a TV show, and more. It's all there, free for the taking. If you enjoy listening to the Aging Starts Now podcast, please subscribe, rate the show, or leave us a review. It's easy to do on whatever app you use to listen. We would love your feedback on the show. Aging Starts Now. We'll be back next week with more candid discussions about the challenges created by aging, disability, and unexpected illness.